Well, it's a coffee morning on Morning Cafe. Thank you so much for always keeping it TV47. I'm happy to have you and looking forward to greatness for this very Tuesday morning, the 25th day of October 2022. It's my hope that you had a great night. And of course, we are here as always to make sure that your day begins then on a very good note, an informed note, an entertained note, and most entertained, yes, note. And most importantly, for us to have an engagement where we get into discussions that are pretty much important for us. We'll be taking a look at the papers this morning, and as well we'll also be getting to decipher the subjects that are crucial. And most importantly, we do not forget to get into the discussion of education. Education is at the heart of every activity in the nation, and therefore we seek to understand just how innovative we can get to get our education sector, in order, and most importantly to make sure that we shape our students for the job market. Karibu sana. Be part and parcel of this conversation. The hashtag, as always, is Morning Cafe at Linda_Lela TV47KE. Let's get to interact as we take a look at so much more that is playing out in the country and across the borders. I'll be sampling some of these comments that you drop us as we continue with the broadcast. Once again, the broadcast is Morning Cafe, and my name is Linda_Lela. The Daily Nation, the People Daily, as well as the Standard newspaper are the papers that we have this morning. We look at them as well as getting into understanding some more on what it is that the gentlemen I'll have on set have to say about these matters that are very, very important. Front pages of the papers speak of the tough questions after the journalist's killing. Just how did he die? And claims of assassination as police insist it was a routine operation gone terribly wrong. And shot in head, police officers who spoke to the nation and actually had to say that Arshad Sharif's car was flagged down, but the driver sped away, forcing the officers to shoot at the car. Sharif's brother, Kuram, drove for 25 kilometers without the front right tire, which had been flattened by a gunshot. Yes, a journalist who lost his life on this very mission of journalism. May his soul rest in eternal peace. It's quite an unfortunate moment, as of course his family and friends and as well the media fraternity is out there to mourn his loss. This is a story that finds itself on the front page of the Daily Nation as well as the Standard newspaper. Pakistani shot and killed in Magadi in what police claim is a case of mistaken identity, but given the profile of the newscaster and the investigative work he was engaged in, that ruffled the feathers of the high and mighty. The world is calling for answers. A story captured on page 5. This is quite unfortunate. Definitely our developing story that we'll be giving you updates on as we continue just to look at the events that have been captured right there on the front page of the Standard newspaper as well as the Daily Nation. We'll definitely be getting into the intrigues of it, and every information that gets to our desk will definitely be here to keep you up to tabs. Blood features, school not an option for starving pupils. This is quite unfortunate. There's a story captured on page 8 as we continue to speak about starvation and the drought cases that are being reported in different places of the country. Definitely we'll be looking at this and so much more alongside the gentlemen that will be having. Police want DNA test from charged officers. A story as well that is captured on page 6 of the Standard newspaper. We speak of missing Indians lawyer and queries probed as police seek suspects' DNA. Internal Affairs Unit wants court to allow the unit to extract DNA from the officers. Investigations show that the respondents were deployed in the disbanded Special Service Unit. Remember, this is something that has been making headlines for the better part of this month, and we still are having investigations conducted as to getting to the bottom of the same. The Kahawa Magistrate Court will decide tomorrow whether to hear an application that is from the Police Internal Affairs Unit to detain 4 officers in connection with the disappearance of these 2 Indians, that is Zaid Kidwai and Zulfikar Khan. And of course, we'll be giving you updates as well on this very same one, coming at that backdrop of this unit being disbanded by the president with the allegations of the fact that they engage in heinous acts of, getting Kenyans that are innocent to face the wrath unnecessarily. And so we'll be getting into details of that later on as we continue. Those are the key stories that have been captured on the papers this morning. That is the Standard newspaper. As well, the Daily Nation speaks of the same. How did he die? We have touched on this very matter as investigations are on as to the assassination of this journalist from Pakistan. As well, we're looking forward to get answers of the same. This captured on page 2, 3, 4, and 5 of the Daily Nation. We'll be getting into the intrigues of it as these investigations continue to make sure that we keep you up to tabs. Let's look at yes, the People Daily, more or less, as well as updates on the same. Mr. Director, do you have the People Daily? Let's have the People Daily up on the screen so that we can also take a look at what it details this morning. All right, there you go. And tough questions over the killing of Pakistani scribe. That as captured on page 6, on the front page, expounded on page 6. And away from it, how families are coping with rising cost of goods. It's extremely expensive for the people of Kenya. Households have cut back on spending, only buying essentials as they seek side jobs. This is quite unfortunate as well. 4 NCAs list risk rejection. Opposition legislators are pushing their colleagues to reject Ruto's choices, saying they have cases or are not competent. A story captured on page 4. Moses Kuria, Penina Malonza, Mithika Linturi, as well as Aisha Jumwa. We are all setting our eyes on this to get to see whether indeed we're going to get it, in terms of what it is that these legislators are speaking of, or it will be a different affair altogether. Definitely here to keep you up to tabs, as these names have until the deadline of the 27th to be represented to the House for them to as well debate on the same and expound further, as these names then are supposed to be sent to the President for approval. We'll definitely be here to update you on the same. And we now shift gears to look at the stories that have been worked on by my team, more or less the same stories that I have picked on as I look at the papers. And Second Lady Dorcas Gachagua has called on Kenyans, that is to start tree planting projects that will help curb devastating effects of drought that have ravaged parts of the country. The Second Lady says the Kenya Kwanza government was keen to address the drought situation and further construct boreholes in affected areas, as Andrin Kilemi reports.
At least 7,000 households in 7 different villages in Laikipia East constituency have benefited from relief food to cushion them against the ongoing drought experienced in over 25 counties across the country.
Kila mtu atapata chakula.
Speaking during the flagging off exercise, Deputy President's wife Dorcas Gachagua urged Kenyans to start tree planting projects that will in return aid in curbing the biting effects of drought.
Kwa hivyo tukipata chakula leo, ningeuliza serikali kuu ya national na county tuanze kushikania sisi wote, tuone vile tunaweza kupanda miti. Ndio tukipanda miti tutakuwa tunabadilisha hali ya hewa ya inchi yetu.
The Second Lady further revealed that the Kenya Kwanza government was keen to address drought by drilling more boreholes in Laikipia County to address the water shortage situation witnessed in the area.
Na kwa hivyo nitaongea na governor wetu, na ninajua kuna donors ambayo tunaweza ongea na wao, tunaweka boreholes zingine ndio watu waweze kupata maji ya kutosha. Na ninafikiria my governor atashirikiana na sisi kufanya hivyo. Na si tutachukua muda mrefu, tungetaka hiyo ifanyike pengine in the next 6 months.
In Laikipia, at least 183,000 people are facing acute food shortage, according to the National Drought Management Authority, NDMA. Elsewhere in Turkana County, the Kenya National Union of Teachers has called on the government to hasten the process of distribution of relief food that it says has greatly affected learning, with a majority of learners staying home due to lack of food.
Angalia mambo ya njaa ya shule za arid lands, arid areas. Provide food to arid areas. Turkana being one of them. Ndio tujue hata hiyo uongozi yako iko sawa sawa.
So far, over 90% of water sources have dried up as crops fail and families lose their livestock. Andrin Kilemi, TV 47.
And Kiambu politician Gladys Njeri Mwangi, commonly known as Chania, together with her co-accused Maurice Mbogwa, have been released on a cash bond of 1 million shillings each, pending ongoing investigations into the murder case of her husband, George Mwangi. During the mention of the case that is before Kiambu resident magistrate Wilson Redding, the prosecution sought 7 more days to complete the investigation, noting that the suspects might interfere with witnesses, and asked the court to consider the fact that one of the farmhands is yet to be found. However, the request was denied by magistrate, and the court directed that the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions draw a charge sheet for the case to commence forthwith in an upper court before the lapse of 7 days.
For further analysis from the body of the deceased. We have annexed a copy of the postmortem to the further affidavit.
I note that the accused persons, at least so far, as deponed in the affidavits of the investigating officer, they have been cooperating at length. Yeah. Again, I take it that it is only a period of 7 days that remains. Yeah. Therefore, the best way for the court to balance here in the scale is to give the accused person the option of bond, which I hereby do, of Kenyan shillings 1 million with 2 sureties. The accused persons in the remaining 7 days to report to the investigating officer at 9 a.m. The orders here will lapse at the end of the 7 days. That is how the elephant in the room has been dealt with. I also take refuge that in the 7 days that is remaining, the investigating officers will have been able to finish the investigations, because we are told they're divided into a team, each team pursuing a lead. That is the orders of the court.
Now, Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza has denied receiving any formal communication from the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission regarding alleged constitutional violations. Addressing the press during the ongoing row between her and members of the county assembly, the embattled county boss said she has only heard of a letter from the anti-graft agency on mainstream and social media. The story was produced by Andrew Juma.
The wrangles between the newly elected governor of Meru, Kawira Mwangaza, and members of the county assembly has taken another route. This time, the governor defending a move to stand firm against what she calls intimidation.
MCA wamesema lazima what? Simply because Governor Munya was giving them, Governor Keraito alikuwa anawapatia, na ni lazima niwapatie, ndio nitawapatia. Lakini this time round, mambo yamebadilika.
The embattled county boss maintains that she will not give in on the assembly's members' demands of what she termed as bribes before approving her nominees to serve in the cabinet.
Hakuna pesa nitapeana kienyeji. Hapana, lazima kuwe na sheria, na sheria ifuatiliwe. Kwa hivyo hata mkifanya allegations za kwenda juu kupanda chini, nataka kuwatangazia ya kwamba serikali ya mama iko imara.
The county chief is also engaged in another tussle with the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, EACC. According to EACC, she is one of the county chiefs accused of hiring staff to fill up different positions irregularly.
Wengine wanasema sijui wametolewa kwa WhatsApp group, sijui imeenda namna gani. I'm the one who created the WhatsApp group. How do you stay in the same group na msikizaji? Ukiona group group haifanyi kazi na mpelekani, then una left. Na kulefti si hatia ya kupelekwa EACC.
But the county boss dismissed the allegations, saying she has only heard about the news in the media. Mwangaza, however, says she is still waiting to be served with a letter by EACC, adding that she is ready with the relevant answers when she will need to clear herself.
Wase wanjulincheke. Hiyo maneno inatuletea aibu kama Wameru. Tunaona aibu sababu watu wanametupigia simu kutoka sehemu mbalimbali kuuliza kwani Meru kuna moto.
Tunamuomba Excellency Governor wa Meru aite hawa watatu waweze kuelewana. Mimi bado nasubiri yangu ya Monday next week.
Utumwa. Kwa hiyo wote wawili tumeongea na County Assembly na mewakubali they will go on with further discussions, na wao wako ready kuongea na governor wakati wowote anataka kuongea na wao. Yeye ndiye vile speaker wetu amesema ndiye atawaita. It's not the other way around.
The first time governor is also accused of practicing nepotism in a case where she is said to have employed her spouse Murega Baishu as the youth service patron and ambassador for hustlers, employing two of her sisters, one as a personal assistant and another as her security personnel.
Tumekutana na nyinyi Mombasa tukaongea mambo ya wadifad, mumeniruka. Sasa kwa sababu sitaki muniruke tena, naomba mukifika tena kujeni na something that I can also present before people.
When members of the county assembly walked out on her as she made her maiden address in the house, they raised issues with her handling of her docket, saying she had declined to receive counsel from them.
Governor ndiye akona nguvu ya kutuita. Yeye ile siku atataka atatuita. Lakini hatuweza andika barua, tutaandika barua tukisema nini. Kama anataka tuandike barua, atatuandikia barua, tutamujibu.
The family of slain police officer Ezekiel Matete, who was shot dead by his colleague yesterday, that is of course on Sunday in Moyale, is crying for justice for the kin who was killed in the line of duty. Matete was shot dead together with his colleague by a rogue officer who killed 2 officers and injured 2 others. And speaking at the home in Mulufu village, Mumias East sub-county, the family described him as a peace-loving and hard-working man. The deceased has left behind a widow and 6 children.
A somber mood has engulfed Mulufu village following the news of the passing of their kin that broke Sunday early morning. The deceased's father, Julius Matete, couldn't hold back his tears.
Aliniwachia watoto 5. Nianze zero ambapo nilianzia. Tena hapo tu.
Hata tumbo ilishika, nilikuwa na wasiwasi, hata saa si fahamu hakuna kwa akili yangu.
Nilikuwa nimeongea na yesterday, akaniambia mwenye anafaa kumrelease hajafika. Lakini akona imani nisaanza safari Monday.
Hata nashangaa ndugu alikuwa ananiambia nakuja nyumbani na nakuja kwa sanduku.
His wife Violet Waliaro revealing how excited he was to meet their 6th born for the first time since she was born through an operation 6 months ago.
Huyu ndo nimemfanyia operation juzi. Hata hajamuona. Ndio alikuwa amesema anakuja kukaa na mtoto wake kwa 2 months. Sasa imekuwa jinsi ilivyo sasa, sina otherwise. Mtoto wa kwanza kwa form 2 na yeye ndio tegemea.
The family revealed that the deceased on several occasions had requested for a transfer from Moyale in vain.
Alisema kwamba ugonjwa unamsumbua na naomba transfer kuja karibu na familia yake, hili ugonjwa ikimshinda tukue karibu na yeye. Paka kutoka siku hiyo paka saa hii ananipigia simu nasema ya kwamba walimkalia nafasi ya kuja kupata transfer kuni. Sasa maraba ilitokea hapo, hata mimi nilia, wakimpa transfer angepata hiyo shida.
The family is now crying for justice for their slain kin, who they described as a cheerful and peace-loving person.
Nikucheka tu na watu, na matata.
Kama alikuwa na shida na bosi yake, kunaendaje sasa anageukia watu innocent kama ndugu yangu mwenye hajai kosea mtu changamfu tu kufanya kazi yake.
Sasa kulingana vile ameuawa, hatukujua ni sababu gani. Hao ndio wanajua kila kitu kimeendelea. Naomba tu haki itendeke.
The deceased has left behind a wife and 6 children.
Watoto wa serikali aliwacha. Na maisha yangu ni kidogo. Miaka yangu imekwisha. Siwezi kufanya kazi popote. Serikali inaweza kunisaidia aje ndio niendeshe maneno ya watoto hao.
Naomba serikali tupate haki kwa sababu mtu mwenye hajagonjeka amekufa hivyo kifo tatanishi. Mtu alikuwa anatumikia serikali.
His body has since been moved from Moyale to Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital mortuary in Eldoret as family continues with funeral arrangements. Violet Auma, TV47, Kakamega.
Now, President William Ruto's sustained campaign to reform the National Police Service and end extrajudicial killings received a boost from the Law Society of Kenya, which paid him a courtesy call at State House, Nairobi. And according to a dispatch from State House, the lawyers' body has asked the president to form a commission of inquiry to investigate cases of extrajudicial killings and enforced disappearances to unearth the truth. Apollo Kamau with that.
President William Ruto's sustained offensive on extrajudicial killings and forced disappearances was key on the agenda during his meeting with the Law Society of Kenya, led by the Council's President Eric Theuri at State House, Nairobi, where the lawyers' body called for state intervention. According to the State House, the Law Society of Kenya expressed its support for the president's firm position against extrajudicial killings and called for the setting up of a commission of inquiry. The meeting, which was also attended by the Director of Public Prosecutions, Nudin Haji, however, gave no timelines for the formation of the commission of inquiry, despite the two sides reading from the same script. State House says President Ruto told the lawyers' body, and I quote, "By working together, I do not mean you join our choir. We have enough members for that. The best way for you to contribute is to raise your voice when things are not going right." The meeting comes after the high-profile disbandment of the Directorate of Criminal Investigations Special Services Unit, blamed for the abduction and killings of 2 Indians who are part of President William Ruto's presidential campaign team. Several officers belonging to the disbanded unit were grilled last Friday by detectives on the killings and disappearances in the wake of President Ruto's Mashujaa Day speech when he ordered for speedy investigations. LSK has teamed up with other human rights defenders to investigate undocumented cases of extrajudicial killings and forced disappearances to bring the cases to court. Apol Kamau, TV47.
The 4 accused officers from the disbanded Special Service Unit of the Directorate of Criminal Investigations are now challenging the validity, eligibility, and constitutionality of the Internal Affairs Unit of Police in filing an application to investigate them. The 4 were arraigned in court, as Collins Lusweti tells us.
Security personnel.
The 4 officers who were detained on Friday over alleged offenses of abduction and extrajudicial killings appeared at the Kahawa Law Courts earlier today, accompanied by their lead lawyer Danstan Omari. The 4 raising serious concerns about the eligibility of the National Police Service's Internal Affairs Unit, filing an application seeking to investigate the 4. Lawyer Danstan Omari argues this falls outside the unit's jurisdiction.
Your Honor, that is the mandate of the Internal Affairs Unit. Nowhere is it contemplated that it can come to this court to seek orders to interdict, to discipline the 4 respondents.
The Internal Affairs Unit made an application asking the court to allow the police to detain the officers led by Peter Muthe, head of the defunct Special Service Unit, for 30 days to allow the conclusion of investigations. The unit was disbanded by President Ruto over alleged extrajudicial killings.
Tumevunja ile ilikuwa inaitwa special sijui nini ya police ambayo ilikuwa inaua wa Kenya kiholela.
Reports indicate that the 4 cops were part of a team of 10 officers who were summoned by Internal Affairs Unit last Friday for questioning over the involvement in the disappearance of 2 Indians and their taxi driver. The two foreigners were reportedly abducted days before the August 9 polls. The court is expected to make a ruling on Wednesday on whether the Internal Affairs Unit can present such an application in court, with the defense lawyers saying only the Office of DCI, Director of Public Prosecution, and Inspector General of Police or Independent Police Oversight Authority have the mandate to file such an application.
Is the DCI or the Functional National Police Service Commission or the DPP. The act that creates, the section that creates the internal unit, Section 87, allows it to deal with complaints of police officers who have snatched another police officer's wife. Petty discipline matters, not issues of two Indians who are dead.
Collins Lusweti, TV 47, Nairobi.
Former DCI boss George Kinoti is not yet off the hook as the Independent Policing and Oversight Authority states it will broaden its investigations and target the agency's top bosses. The move comes at the backdrop of claims of mysterious killings and enforced disappearances, with the authority calling on the National Police Service Internal Affairs Unit to step aside from the investigations. Morgan William with that.
The disbandment of the Special Service Unit of the DCI has kicked off a chain of reactions, with the Independent Policing Oversight Authority IPOA coming into the scene. The body mandated by law to check police excesses, now revealing that it is going for the big fish in DCI hierarchy.
IPOA continues to investigate cases where the police are alleged to have engaged in extrajudicial operations, including enforced disappearances and killings.
IPOA saying that it is widening the scope of its investigations of allegations of killings and forced disappearance leveled against the DCI. IPOA further revealing that it will follow crucial leads to whatever point that they will lead them, adding that the already junior officers from the unit had senior officials who ordered them in performing different duties.
The members of those units are under investigations now. They are Kenyans and they deserve justice. They receive orders from somewhere, so those investigations are ongoing.
Earlier, 4 DCI officers drawn from the defunct unit were arrested in connection to killings and missing persons.
As we clearly put it very clearly, these police officers who are junior are being forced, coerced, intimidated to implicate their bosses, their superiors. Their superiors are not in this matter.
IPOA has also taken an issue with the National Police Service Internal Affairs Unit taking the lead in investigating possible crimes committed by rogue police officers, saying it is the only body recognized by the Constitution to handle such tasks.
So we shall continue pursuing this matter despite being investigated by Internal Affairs Unit. Again, the authority has the obligation to audit what the Internal Affairs Unit does in terms of its investigations and generally how it handles disciplinary matters within the service.
The Anne Makori-led authority has also queried the manner in which the special units were created within the agency, citing opaqueness in both the units, formation and their roles, which IPOA says are against the laws that guide the police service.
In the manner of formation, there is no established procedure. And that is why they appear secretive. You know, you will hear of a unit, but you don't know what that unit has been formed for.
As you all know, by law, we are supposed to investigate them. We cannot investigate structures that we don't know they exist. So it's an obligation of the Inspector General to do that, and the authority has since written to the Inspector General to require him to share with us the relevant formations that there are, or units that there are within the NPS.
Before his resignation through a letter to President William Ruto as the head of sleuths in the country, George Kinoti had served as the head of the Criminal Investigation Department for 4 years, with his leadership unable to solve a surging number of forced disappearances and tens of mysterious killings. Mwigi William, TV 47, Nairobi.
Now, the body of a 50-year-old renowned Pakistani journalist, Arshad Sharif, who was shot dead by police officers manning a roadblock along the Nairobi-Magadi road, that is Monday night, is expected to be flown to his native country. That is after his autopsy was done. and that is Monday. Actually, he was shot on Sunday night, and that body then taken on Monday. Now, the police expressed regret over the incident, saying it was a case of mistaken identity during a search for a similar car like the one he was involved in a case of child abduction. Mike Kagongo with the story.
Pakistani High Commissioner to Kenya Sakleen Said has revealed that autopsy results on the slain Pakistani journalist show that he died from gunshot wounds.
It's like it says that he has been shot. Yeah, and it is a mishap that happened with the Kenyan police. In case of mistaken identity, this is what we have been told, that they were looking for some stolen car and they couldn't see the alphabet correctly.
The slain journalist was shot in the head and killed by police officers after his driver allegedly violated a roadblock which was placed to check vehicles using the road. Earlier reports indicated that Mr. Sharif was traveling back to Nairobi from Magadi with his driver when he met his death at a police roadblock.
And it is our intention to get to the bottom of this. I personally would wish to pass condolences.
The car had been flagged down by police officers, but they allegedly defied to stop. According to a report filed at the Magadi police station, the slain journalist was being driven by his host brother, Mr. Kuram Ahmed, on their way from Kwenya in Magadi.
We have actually requested from my government, I've requested the government of Kenya to do an intensive investigation and to find out the reason behind it and obviously punish the culprits as well.
Saida said Sharif was hit twice on the shoulder and on the head with a bullet that hit the head, leaving a deep wound. The High Commissioner said given the unique nature of the matter, the Pakistani embassy in Kenya has full authority to fly the body home soonest possible as investigations continue.
We have authority actually to fly all dead bodies of Pakistani people. And this is a special case because he is a very famous, I should say, and a very senior journalist, very well known in Pakistan.
We only wish to appeal for calm and let the investigating officers to get to the bottom of this issue.
The news of the incident spread fast in Pakistan, where the journalist was famous. His body was preserved at the Chiromo mortuary in Nairobi, and his autopsy conducted to determine the cause of death. Earlier in the day, Pakistani Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif said he had a telephone conversation with President William Ruto, who promised to fast-track the process of returning the body to Pakistani, as well as push for a transparent investigation into the shocking incident.
No, we don't want it to affect the bilateral relations because we have very warm relations. Nobody wants it to happen. So I think the Kenyan government also understands and our government also understands. That's why we want an intensive investigation.
A statement from the police headquarters stated that the Independent Policing Oversight Authority was set to manage the case. Mike Kagwongo, TV 47, Nairobi.
Now, a few moments after being elected Conservative Party leader, Rishi Sunak has pledged to work around the clock to fix the economy of the United Kingdom. And he's expected to be the next UK Prime Minister after confirmation by King Charles.
I'd like to pay tribute to Liz Truss for her dedicated public service to the country. She has led with dignity and grace through a time of great change and under exceptionally difficult circumstances, both at home and abroad. I am humbled and honoured to have the support of my parliamentary colleagues and to be elected as leader of the Conservative and Unionist Party. It is the greatest privilege of my life to be able to serve the party I love and give back to the country I owe so much to. But there is no doubt we face a profound economic challenge. We now need stability and unity, and I will make it my utmost priority to bring our party and our country together, because that is the only way we will overcome the challenges we face and build a better, more prosperous future for our children and our grandchildren. I pledge that I will serve you with integrity and humility, and I will work day in, day out to deliver for the British people.
Yes, and from that very story, it is now time that we get to the very, very important conversation. We have gentlemen in studio. One of them will be joining us virtually. That is Osido, who will be as well getting into this conversation. The main focus would be then what is happening at the level of the counties, looking at the members of county assemblies, their power, and how they get to manage the county affairs, whichever county that they represent, for purposes of getting it right. And indeed, I'll be having members of county assemblies right here in studio, as well as one of their heads, and most importantly, Kevin Osido, who's the Executive Director of County Governance Watch. These conversations are pretty important to have, if at all we have to get devolution a success, and that's exactly what we are focusing on. And so shortly we'll be getting to introduce the Honorable Wahome Ndegwa. That is Wakili Wahome Ndegwa, who's the Chair County Assemblies Forum, and we'll also be having Honorable Kimani Mugo, that is the MCA of Zimmerman, as well as the MCA of Chinga Ward, that is in Nyeri County, Honorable Kiruga Dhuku, and as I've also told you, the County Governance Watch Executive Director Kevin Osido will be joining us virtually for this very crucial conversation. This we pick you from what has been happening. That is in Meru, as well as not forgetting what has been playing out in other counties, and not forgetting Homa Bay, as well as the previous cases of devolution and how the members of county assemblies were instrumental in the reign of these very governors that had been elected, that is in 2017, a majority of them having to meet the Senate, the National Assembly, and some of them actually were asked courtesy of this, and we all understand the role that they play in making sure that a governor is checked, a governor is still at the top of the reign. So as we get into this very conversation, we ask for you to be part and parcel of it. The hashtag is Morning Cafe at Linda_Lela TV47KA. Karibu sana. Once again, we sample some of these comments as we continue with the broadcast. The two gentlemen on the sides, allow me to introduce Honorable Kimani Mugo, who's the Member of County Assembly of Zimmerman. It's his first time here, right? So, kama mgeni, I think it's only fair that we allow him the chance to say hi before I get to introduce the household members. Karibu sana. Good to have you.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Nice to have you too.
Nice to have you, and I mean, looking forward to greatness in terms of the discussions that we're about to have.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Zimmerman?
Zimmerman, Nairobi County.
Yes.
Thika Road.
Yes.
Resambu constituency.
Right. That is Nairobi, eh?
Yes.
Nairobi is a mess.
Not really. It was a mess, but currently
it is all fixed.
We are moving smoothly.
Even at the level of the House?
Yes.
The Assembly?
No, because we have a confusion.
That's why I said Nairobi is a mess. So I think I am justified in this case.
Yes.
What's the confusion?
The confusion is who are the majority. Because according to the Kenya Kwanza side, we are the majority. But according to the Azimio side, they are the majority. And we have written to the Register of Political Parties to clearly maybe indicate to us who are the majority.
Why do you argue that as the Kenya Kwanza side, you are the majority? And I'm sure you want to draw parallels with what happened at the National Assembly.
Yes, because the National Assembly set a precedent in terms of who are the majority.
Okay.
And the definition of which side has the majority.
Right.
And that's why we are asking the political registrar to come into our rescue here,
right,
and maybe help us to understand who are the majority.
Okay, let's overlook Kenya Kwanza and let's allow the other gentleman first of all to say jambo.
Okay.
Good morning, Mheshimiwa. How have you been, Honorable Wahome?
I'm well, leader, and I'm still preparing to
Handover?
Vacate office.
Yes.
Actually, yesterday I held the inaugural governing council meeting for the third dispensation.
Yeah.
And I'm happy my friend Kiruga, Mheshimiwa of Shinga Ward in Nyeri, has come in the governing council.
Right.
So at least now I can start estimating as to who I'm handing over to.
True.
And there are great men and women who have come in as MCAs in the third dispensation. And from what we have done, the kind of watershed that we have achieved as the county assemblies of this forum, I'm a very proud chairman, as I look forward to having a new chair and the executive committee on the 7th of November.
Yeah.
And eventually handing over on the 18th of November. And again, I'm very happy to be here again. This is home. And this is where we discuss all the issues that concern and inspire our people.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy to be a guest again.
Karibu sana, and we're looking forward to great insights. One would want to ask, why is it that we had you yesterday and today? Is because the matters that we discuss are at, the heart of the people, because then this is the local government, the most local aspect of government for the common mwananchi. And importantly, then we are speaking to the chairperson of the County Assemblies Forum, and so he's best positioned then to articulate on these matters. Are we expecting for you to be the next chair?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you, Linda, for inviting us to this show this morning. My name is Kiruga Dhuku, MCA Chinga Ward in Othaya.
Right.
Of course, I cannot be the chair because...
it has to be a speaker.
Yeah, it has to be a speaker.
Yes.
I wanted to go for the SG's position. But the beauty of politics is that you can give up and still be a winner.
Yeah.
Because personally I gave up and I supported my Honorable Chege, his colleague in Nairobi.
Yes.
But then we will be supporting our speaker,
right.
Honorable Mwangi Gishuhi, who was previously an MP, to be the treasurer. So, that one brings more synergy.
Yeah.
And of course, I remain a member of the governing council. I can take other duties within the organization. And I want to really thank Wakili and Speaker Degwa. He and his team have done a lot, especially in ensuring that MCAs across the country are well facilitated to carry out their mandate. So Wakili Degwa, we want to promise you, we won't let you down. We will take the mantle and learn. Because of course, at the end of the day, it's about what is beneficial to Ajiko, who has elected us to these positions. I really want to thank the Nyeri County Assembly, which have given me the honor of sitting in the CAF Governing Council. So that was a great honor. I'm very, very grateful to the county leadership and my fellow members from Nyeri County Assembly.
Wow.
Thank you.
Well put. Mheshimiwa, I am looking forward to hear from you on what kind of county assembly forum you're leaving behind. But before then, let's talk Nairobi, now that one of them is here. And this majority-minority tussle, perhaps to get to understand, you were talking on basis of, now this is Azimio One Kenya and this is Kenya Kwanza.
Yes.
So you're talking on basis of coalitions, right?
Yes.
In the event that they would shelve off this talk of, Azimio being a coalition, because perhaps there's no member who was elected under the Azimio, same applies to Kenya Kwanza, and then they speak parties, which then would be the highest represented party in the House?
If you talk about parties, we are equal. We have 35.
As UDA or who?
We are equal as a MCA from UDA party and from ODM party. We are 35-35.
35-35.
35-35.
So in this case, it's even tougher, it's even tighter in comparison to what was at the National Assembly.
Yes, but this is just a matter of just a clarification.
Yeah.
We don't anticipate that we are going to have so much those infighting or in the assembly. We are so much committed as the people who are elected in this assembly of Nairobi to be first of all, because we are lagging behind in terms of time.
Yes.
To fast track our mandate, that is representation, legislation and oversight, because we want service delivery. We don't want infights. So this is just a matter of what we call in-house interpretation. But once we get that one, we are set to go. We don't want to set a precedent of what happened at the previous assemblies, fighting with the governor, fighting all the time. We want to have a different assembly and a county, which won't be fighting or day in, day out.
And so if the interpretation does not favor Kenya Kwanza,
we are okay. We are okay.
We
are okay. Yeah, we are okay. Yeah, we are okay.
All right, and of course we'll be getting into the aspects of that as we continue. Mheshimiwa, what kind of county assembly forum do you leave behind?
Actually, we have made very serious movements forward as the county assemblies of this country. Leader, when we started, the assemblies were disjointed. We had no focal point on which to address the concerns of our people and also our mandates, as Mheshimiwa Mogo has said, which is registration, oversight and representation. But now we have a focal point in a curve, and this is an entity that has been now recognized in this country. I think you have seen even when the president is opening parliament, I am invited and we are recognized there as stakeholders in the space of devolution. Despite not being anchored into the Intergovernmental Relations Act, like the County Council of Governors, we are recognized and we are invited to the Intergovernmental Budget and Economic Council. This is where the budget is literally cooked. And the MCAs, we are there representing the MCAs and the assemblies to ensure that they have their say when the budget of this country is being conceived. We have also been able to, in a very structured manner, to engage all the independent and constitutional officers of this country. The KRI, the Auditor General, the Commission on Revenue Allocation, the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, the Controller of Budget. These are entities that when it comes to issues touching on the assemblies and their members, we are able to address them. The most critical issue, Arinda, on the billions that are going to the counties is that we have not been able to oversight over those monies in a very effective manner the way we would have wanted. For the last at least about 8 years, for the reasons that the governors had been given control of the resources going to the assemblies. This is not the same case that happens to Parliament. When the money for Parliament is shared to them by the Commission on Revenue Allocation and Parliament approves that money for themselves, they have no business with the executive. It is the crack of the National Assembly and the Senate, and mainly the clerk of the Senate, who is the secretary to the Parliamentary Service Commission, is the one who does all the requisitions for Parliament and they account for it. But for the county assemblies, we had been required to go kneeling and begging before governors so that we have our money. Most of the governors would release as little as only 60% of the allocations by county assemblies and retain the other 40 so that they can play political games with the parts of the membership of the county assemblies to ensure that there is no oversight on them. There are no hard questions coming to them. I thank the Senate of this country that last year they were able to move an amendment to the Public Finance Management Act, and they now, as per law, any monies allocated to the county assembly by the Commission on Revenue Allocation and approved by Parliament, that money remains with the assembly. Whether the governor releases or not, the money will be carried forward to the next financial year. Today is that we have a bill in the second reading. It was being moved by the senator, the then senator for Kirinyaga, Charles Kibiro. I'm happy that the senator for Kirinyaga now is my MCA, my former MCA, Kamau Murango, and we are in talks that he will take up from where the senator for Kirinyaga left, so that now we free the assemblies completely financially. There is no way, Linda, will talk about effective representation, oversight and registration when you expect the governor, whom you are auditing in terms of finances and systems, to release money to you so that you can ask hard questions. But with this law going through, and we have talked with the Speaker of the Senate, who has been a devolution space, the Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Wetangula, who has been our supporter for when he sat in the Senate for the last 10 years, that this amendment will go through. Once we free the assemblies from the bondage of financial management from the governors, remote financial management by the governors. We shall free the assemblies. We shall secure the billions coming to the assemblies for the development of the people.
All right. Well, allow us to loop in Kevin Osido, who joins us virtually. Kevin Osido, good morning.
Good morning to you, Linda. How are you today?
I'm good. How is it where it is that you are?
I am in Dar es Salaam in the interest of national responsibility.
Okay.
And it is fine. We had a very great evening last evening for Diwali. And this morning we are excited, and I'm happy to be part of this conversation.
All right, and it's a pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for creating time out of the busy schedule and what it is that takes you there. We are hugely talking about the county, and really we know very well that you are best positioned to discuss this because through the County Governance Watch, there is so much that has been done towards making sure that devolution then is a success. Definitely, we'd love to understand some more as to your perspective, first of all, on the performance of the members of county assemblies, as Mheshimiwa Kimani Mugo acknowledges that they really do not want to waste so much of time. They want to swing to action. But just like the National Assembly, the hula baloo, has been witnessed across the different parts of the country in terms of this majority-minority talk. Nairobi at the heart of it. Would you argue that really this then individuals or members of county assemblies are best positioned then to steer the county forward, looking at where it is that they stand? Before you get to respond to this, Kevin, allow us to take a short break, unless you're going to do 2 minutes or a minute. I think it would only be fair that we take that break and then we come back to you so that we give you ample time as well to respond to the same.
Stories. How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business, farming. Tasty Wednesday. Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga,
and music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business, farming. Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga,
and music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business, farming. Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga,
and music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussion.
The reason as to why citizens wake up early in the morning to go and vote for their leaders is because they have certain expectations and they want these expectations to be met. If I ran for office as an MCA and I went to my people and I spoke to them and they found me fit to hold public office and they actually made that choice to vote for me, to be honest with you, I would not waste my time into the qualms of majority, minority, because it is irrelevant. It is unnecessary to the extent that as an MCA, you are supposed to be exercising the responsibilities that have been given to you by your people and by the Constitution. However, having said that...
Kevin.
Yes.
Perhaps we should start from that very point. Just what is the responsibility of a member of county assembly, and why would they not focus much on the majority-minority talk, knowing very well that just like the National Assembly, some of these bills will come to them, some of these matters they're supposed to articulate will come to them, and therefore they will need that quorum if at all they have to see some of these things that they deem fit sail through. Don't you think it would be wise for them to get to understand pretty well who is the majority, who's the minority? And looking at the question of oversight, representation and legislation, then definitely it would be necessary for them then to get to understand who then backs them at this very level, so that some of this that you speak of as responsibilities then are met.
So I was actually coming to that bit, and that's why I began my second sentence by saying, however.
Okay.
And so you've already spoken about the responsibilities of the members, which include representation, exercise, and of course legislation. Now, Linda, when a member goes to campaign, in the manner in which we see it happening in Kenya, rarely do they talk about those three responsibilities. In fact, when our MCAs, including the ones who are with you in studio, and I have known Mheshimiwa Homa
they're actually laughing because they know it's true.
No, it's not.
No, let me just finish my point. I have known Mheshimiwa Homa as a CAF, and we have had a number of meetings with him for many years as he's been CAF chair. He knows that what I am talking about is actually true, because even if you ask the members, and most of the members we are talking about in this country, that is MCAs, how do they execute and dispense the responsibilities of an MCA when it comes to legislation? Ask them, even in the first assembly, the second assembly, how many of them sponsored any bills, that have been successfully executed in the county assemblies? Move further, Linda, and ask them, okay, if you have already moved motions of bills, and how many of them have been enacted by Excellency governors, and how have we put regulations to ensure that those laws actually live and they meet the requirements of the expectations of the people? They will tell you, because we have enumerated across the 47 counties number of bills and motions, bills and acts that have been legislated and enacted upon. Nairobi County itself, in the first and the second generation of county governments, has almost over close to 437 plus bills that have been executed with zero regulations. And if you go out there and ask members, how do these regulations meet the expectations of the people? They will not be very clear, Linda, to tell you how that happens. Unless now through stakeholders, you get into public participation processes, and you get into partnership with county assemblies and the offices of the speakers and the clerks and the leadership of the House, and you get into a partnership that therefore disseminates these laws to the people. To Linda, why majority and minority, to the extent that, of course, the political parties, because if you look at how our politics is done, is largely based on political parties, and even the wars between majority and minority that is happening both at the National Assembly and the county assemblies is based on the strength of political parties. So members who are also elected as independents per se, despite their caucus, because now they have a very strong caucus both at the National Assembly and also at the county assemblies, would want to associate with the side of the House that has a leadership that will be able to also help them espouse and meet their expectations. Because remember that these decisions, Linda, at the House are made based on a vote, and that vote is either through secret ballot or through acclamation process. And so members would therefore want to be associated with a side of the House that has an opportunity to execute over bills or to make, to cast votes on rules or bills or regulations that therefore favor a side which one touches on their political party based on their interests, and two, also relates to the expectations of the people. But remember that the second bit that I'm talking about is not normally the primary basis of what we see happening in our county assemblies, which is partly, for example, if you go to Meru and you ask the MCAs, so what exactly is happening? You know, don't they know that the CEC that is going to be nominated by the governor and vetted by the House is the same person that will be required, for example, CEC Education, to disburse bursaries. Right. When they campaigned, they spoke about bursaries. So how do they want to antagonize the office of the governor, despite all the challenges, Linda, but still meet the expectations that and the reasons as to why the citizens voted for them? So almost 9 to 10 years down the line, in our devolved system of governance, we have serious challenges. I believe that we have had an opportunity to learn as a people, and our prayer has always been that this county, the third generation county assemblies, will be able to not only present opportunities for learning and strengthen these learnings to be able to make our democracy and governance better, but that the space of citizen service delivery will also be given the seriousness that it deserves. County assemblies must be able to work effectively in partnership with governors, with institutions such as County Assemblies Forum, with institutions such as the Senate, and even all those others, including the IBEC that relates with the budget, as I heard Mheshimiwa Home Ndegwa address.
All right, very pertinent matters, raised there, and I'm sure you could be having, some response to the same. But even as you respond, and while we're on break, I remember you were trying to explain to Mheshimiwa Kimani, who comes in for the first time, as to some of the secrets for survival, and then this largely would be pegged on how you perform as a member of County Assembly, of course, to your people, and most importantly, how you represent them at the House. Just how important and crucial is this aspect of performance for a majority of them, and why is it that you find that they will not always find their way back? Very few will find their way back. Is it because then that the common mwananchi does not really understand the role of a member of County Assembly, or is it because then that they do not perform their duties as enshrined in the Constitution?
Well, Linda, we have even actually seen people who are very active in the floor of the assembly, losing out. So leadership is a combination of several factors. Your presence on the ground, the way you impact on your people, and of course, everything boils down to how the people down there, your voters, interpret your leadership. But let me tell my good friend, Osindo, those constitutional issues like registration, representation, and such an oversight, they are not things you can just go even during the campaigns, you just go discussing them there. There are things you have to do practically. Okay. Like representation, when I pick projects from my ward, people have to feel it. I present them to the county government, people see them being implemented. It's a great score down there, and it makes people, and that's what I'm telling my brother here, getting close to your people is very, very important, because even when you are fought, those people are the ones who will stand with you. On this issue of governance.
Before it gets to that, Mheshimiwa,
yes.
Like for the members of parliament, the role of members of county assemblies then would be this oversight, legislation, and as well as representation. When we're talking about projects, when we're talking about bringing goodies to the people of your ward, is it largely pegged on lobbying, or?
Yeah, as the leader closest to your people, you have your part to play.
Yes. It's one thing to have that part, it's another to have the money. And largely development is about the money.
Yes, and you see, MCAs are part of the process. Even when we talk about IBEC, like Speaker Wahome has been saying here, MCAs are part of the processes. that make projects available to their people.
Okay.
You see, for example, like in Nyeri, I've been telling you here, Linda, you know, we are the best example that bottom-up economic model can work. Because, of course, our governor was magnanimous enough, His Excellency Mwalimu Mutahi Kahiga, because he allowed MCAs as part of their representation duties to be liaising with their people. They pick projects from the ground and they bring them to the county for implementation. That one have made Nyeri actually to be the #1 county in the country in terms of development. So, and this draws, you know, can draw, the new governors can draw a great lesson from that. And quite unfortunate that we have seen some governors even saying they cannot be in the same WhatsApp group with their MCAs. You know,
but must they be in the same group?
They must not be.
Is that the?
They must not be. But like Ken have said,
yes.
Ken has said,
Kevin,
you know,
yes.
Osido, my brother Osido, he has said, you know, ours are constitutional offices. So the governor cannot just stamp, right? Like she just wants to dismiss the MCAs as inconsequential. That, and you know, to make it worse, she doesn't have a party, because you see most of the MCAs in that area, they belong either to UDA or to the BAS party.
Yes.
And one would not exactly want to delve so much into that dispute, but the thing is this: MCAs must be respected. For example, in our case scenario, we know we respect our governor and he respects us. And I can tell you, for example, in our county, our county has given me the implementation committee chair. And this is a very, very, very crucial committee, because it's the one that is supposed to ensure all those CECs and other government officials implement whatever the Nyeri County Assembly you know, have passed. So, you know, that must be done. And, you know, our governor, I remember during the last time he was telling the officials, you must be oversighted by these MCAs. And he was telling us, oversight. And you see, what happens is that even as you oversight and as you work, that component of respect is very important.
Right.
So, for some of these governors, they need just to respect those MCAs. And they are saying it, the MCAs are saying it, all we need is respect. Because you see, Linda, and my brother Dewa is here, he can also delve into the matter. You cannot go appointing your relatives and you expect MCAs to come there about stamping your decisions. And when they talk out, you start saying, oh, they are forcing me to give them money. You know, go and report to the police or to the EACC.
And perhaps to pick it up from there and maybe loop in Honorable Ndegwa, like you have mentioned. First of all, it's such an early stage for this assumption that this governor does not respect us to come to the fore. And I don't know whether you would agree with me, because it's not even like how many months after the election. And I mean, Kawira, for instance, is coming in for the first time as governor, and a majority of some of these members of county assemblies as well, you know, this is their first time. Why would they want to assume that the governor really disrespects them to some extent, or does not accord them the respect that it is that they deserve? And when we're talking about this, we're looking across all the other counties. And most importantly, I would agree that nepotism really is one thing that we should shun away from. But again, if these people that have been picked are noble and are up to the task, is there anything wrong with that?
Okay, first is to say that for those devolution players, it is quite unfortunate and very sad that even before the Meru county government is properly in office, that this infighting has started. Actually, if at least the fighting started after 1 year and after 2 years, we would have said there are some disagreement in some areas of implementation, on budget allocation, in performance, general performance towards achieving the manifesto, because the governor and the MCAs must have a manifesto that they need to implement. But what is happening in Meru, definitely it has no foundation. It is needless, it is unnecessary, and our people are facing very serious challenges in life without these side shows that are happening in Meru. I am privileged to have spoken with several leaders in Meru.
Yeah.
And to start with, the MCAs, I think they showed very serious goodwill that they had their meeting in Mombasa. And before they could come and start the proper and structured execution of their duties, they called their governor for a boarding session. And the only request they made, not even a demand, is that during the tenure of Kiraito Murungi, we were having allocations per ward to ensure equity in terms of the development across the entire county. And that amount was about 60 million. And the governor is left with over 70% of the development budget. And this is a governor who walked out on them. And then came to Meru to say that they are demanding for monies from her and she's not going to give out money. I don't think it is necessary. And the governor is the leader of that county. And as the leader, when you want to speak to your members through the press, I think it is very unfortunate. And the leaders, I told you the other time, we disagreed very publicly with my governor, Francis Kimemia, and I wish not that we shall not be seeing him soon anywhere in Nyandaro. But we had tried everything.
Right.
We had called the Council of Elders, we had called the church, we had called the leaders, the MPs and the others, but this guy, he had an agenda other than serving the people of Nyandaro. And we had then to come out publicly to let people know that you have a governor who is not working for them. But for Meru, what can you complain about the other person, the other leader, when you have not even started working? So therefore, I would want to make a very passionate plea to Her Excellency Governor Kawira Mwangasa. Please, you are the leader of Meru, and encouraged to work for the larger interests of the people of Meru and Meru as a county. There will be a problem, and that is what is happening in Meru. I hope that even the leadership of Meru, we have the Deputy Speaker of the Senate from there, we have high-ranking members of Parliament, and even retired members. I think Meru cannot be allowed to go that direction.
Okay.
It would be just too sad for Meru people, for Mount Kenya, and even for this country, and for the entire devolution space. Meru cannot be allowed to go the direction it is going.
So how soon then until we get it in order for Nairobi County, now that the Marians are saying they are only waiting for the governor to get to summon them so that they can have this in order? How long until then you get that advisory, and then moving forward we see the County Assembly of Nairobi swing to action?
For us, we're just waiting a letter on advisory, who are the majority and who are the minority.
How soon is this expected?
I think we don't have a time frame, but as we speak, the speaker, who is the head of that assembly, he has pronounced himself that Azimio are the majority.
Okay.
And the Kenya Kwanza are the minority. As we speak, we are going to work like that.
Don't you think the speaker's word then would be final in this case, and perhaps then you should turn to action? What exactly is happening at the level of the House? You are at standstill?
No. We are working smoothly together.
Okay.
Even the sitting arrangement of the assembly, we have accepted that the Azimio are sitting on the majority side, and Kenya Kwanza are sitting on the minority side. It's not a big wrangle. It's just a small just misunderstanding. But once we are set on that, I don't think we have that much to disagree, because for us, as I said, we are behind, because Nairobi County was the last assembly to be sworn. The members of County Assembly were the last to be sworn in. We have a budget supplementary. You remember, we are working with Governor Kanano budget. We still have to vet these CECs, the chief officers. We need to set our assembly now to run in so that we may start working for the people of Nairobi. Currently, as we speak, I can see, because we are not projecting for those fights. I can see a smooth running between the assembly and the executive, because we have a goodwill from our governor, who has pronounced himself in several occasions that he doesn't want to see what has been happening previously on the assembly of Nairobi and the executive of Nairobi. So if we get that direction, we are set to go. We don't have that much wrangles at the assembly level.
What do you make of what it is that is happening in Meru County, as well, of course, what it is that is happening in Homa Bay? And this governor is equally saying that they've not received, official communication as would be declared, in the media and on the social media. Then they say they have only seen this, purported letters from the anti-graft agency, on social media.
What I think is, there must be a mutual respect between the governors and the county assembly. We've seen some governors who might feel maybe they want to disrespect the MCAs. But it's a matter of, for us, when we were elected, even before we were being sworn in, we had a sit down. And you can even call in for a brief with the governor. We want to speak to you. We want to maybe to set the agenda. We want maybe to familiarize ourselves with what is your agenda and what is our agenda as an assembly. What is happening is in Meru Assembly is the governor doesn't want to listen to the assembly. And these people, they are the people who are going to pass the budget.
Right.
Remember, she cannot operate without the budget that is passed with from the assembly. We saw it in Kirinyaga when the governor disagreed with the assembly. What happened? The budget was slashed, so they cannot be able to execute what they promised to the electorate of Meru County. It is going to be very difficult, and it is very wise for him to come to realization, the earlier the better, that she cannot overlook or she cannot work without the MCAs.
Okay.
What they need to do is just to agree on few matters which are on disagreement. With that, they can be able to work together. But overlooking and giving press conference, it won't go well for Meru County. It will be the first county to start now having those wrangles, and with that, we expect very much delay in service delivery in Meru County.
Honorable Duku, before I come to you, allow us to loop in Kevin Osido. Kevin Osido, is it me that is reading a scenario where for the longest of time we have had county assemblies that have members within that have some essence of inferiority complex, or the concerns that are being raised here are genuine enough that, they say we have governors who really are looking down upon the members of county assemblies. We have governors that are, mightier than thou, governors that are more of militias, governors that are not listening to what it is that the members of county assemblies have to say, and therefore really not much can move in regards to this.
Linda, that is neither here nor there, because the Constitution and the framework of the framers of our Constitution gave us a very watertight framework to be able to deal with. You do not have to be likable to your governor for you to do your work, and you don't have to be a boyfriend or a girlfriend to the MCA for services to be delivered in one part of your county or whichever. You don't have to be a relative in the dispensation of county governments in Kenya today for you to do what you have been elected to do. One, governors must realize, and county assembly members also must note, that there are three arms of government. The executive, the legislature, and also the judiciary. Each of these are independent but interdependent, because none of them, Linda, can do without the other. And so that is one of the things that I believe that, for example, the case that we are executing this morning, being Meru case, the governor has failed to realize that, one, these are people who are elected. You were not there when they were campaigning. You don't know how much money they used to campaign. And as Mheshimiwa Thuku rightfully said earlier on, the language that you use to excite your people to vote for you is not based on what your governor thinks or imagines that you are going to do in the county assembly. Linda, that is why we normally have, at the immediate moment once an assembly has been put in place, once our county government has been put in place, there is a process called the induction workshop.
Yeah.
This is done both at the county assembly forum level. It is done by independent individual county assemblies, and county governments actually organize these particular sessions to be able to give members an opportunity to gel among themselves, because some of them also do not know each other. Azimio members may not know how UDA was campaigning and what they were talking about when they were in those buses trying to talk to people. The same applies to independent governors. You were not there when UDA was sitting late night having their meetings and having strategies on how to campaign. So the induction workshop gives you the initial opportunity to get to know them. What did you say you want to do? Why do you do things like this? Why did you guys dress in yellow as we were dressing in blue and gold? You know, it gives you an opportunity to begin to have a moment to just stop and think about how you want to run your county.
Yeah.
That is why as County Governance Watch, we always emphasize, even through the Council of Governors, that we have proper technical staff taking members of county assemblies through the induction process, not just people who are coming to talk and share stories, because you are also discussing issues to do with the legislation. What does the law say about impeachment of a governor? Because that is in the Constitution. Remember, Linda, that even the governor, if you are uncomfortable with the county assembly members, you can write to the president and ask for dissolution. It is in law. Why must we want to like people? Why must we force people to like us? We don't have to, because the Constitution, despite the timelines of impeachment of a governor, because that is a challenge that Meru County Assembly members have as we speak. Governor Professor Kivutha Kibwana of Makueni showed us what happened in his first term. When MCAs could not sit with him, they didn't want to be in the same WhatsApp group. What is happening in Meru is not new. It has happened before, and we have lessons on how it has been discharged and dealt with. What I want to advise Mheshimiwa Mwangaza of Meru is that, one, you are an independent candidate, independent governor.
And what's the danger with that? Because it is a danger, Kevin Osidon, and perhaps we'd take a quick short break and then come back, get to hear that. Because then Mheshimiwa Dhuku mentioned it at some point. He says, she needs to know that she's an independent governor. And therefore, is this a danger in the making? Because it's very, very important as well as, a governor or as a president, that you have proper representation at the level of the House. Perhaps that's why it would be wise and good for President, William Ruto as well to have a proper representation, a majority representation at the level of, the House, so that he's able to man of these activities as well as see some of these, sail, or some of these proposals that he would have as president sail through at the level of Parliament. And so just how important would it be for a governor to have enough backing at the level of the county assembly? Allow us to take a short break and then we come back, expound more on that.
You are watching TV 47, the home of untold stories.
Hey!
How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business, farming. Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga.
and music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business, farming. Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga.
And music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business, farming. Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday.
Is an independent, governor, and therefore it becomes hard for her to man the activities of the House simply because she does not enjoy support from the majority or even the minority. What does that mean? Trouble in the making, even for those ones that would run. And I mean, we are in an open, constitution, and we envision a scenario where at some point in time we're going to have a president who is an independent candidate. What would it mean for the country if at all they will not have any form of representation at the level of the House?
Linda, in my view, there is absolutely no danger. What it means, it is purely your leadership style, because the Constitution again envisioned, as you rightfully said, that at one point in time we would have independent aspirants who then turn out to be candidates and they get elected. Once you are elected into office, and we normally tell elected leaders at the induction process that your degree of political party engagement, and particularly to a greater degree your level of independence, ceases at that level. The moment you pick that Bible and you say, I do swear in the name of the Almighty God and the love that I have for the people who voted for me and for the people of Kenya, as in the schedule of the Constitution, that is where that issue rests. We move on to look at how do you execute your responsibilities as an elected leader, because again we have Leadership and Integrity Act that really guides us. We have issues to do with the mwongozo of public servants and state officers. There are legislations and regulations, Linda, that guide your responsibility. Remember that the moment you've been elected a governor, you are elected a governor of a county government, not of an independent political party, of an independent candidate or a political party. You are a governor of those who are both independent and those who are very strongly entrenched into political parties. That is one thing that the governor of Meru will have to note and seriously take note of. That you're not coming in as an independent. And in fact, even you're being independent and that bravado that you carry, that I am an independent governor who is also a lady, does not matter to us. What matters is, what did you say in your manifesto? How does it translate to the county integrated development plan of the county government? And how does it ultimately relate to the aspirations of the people of your county government? Number one. Number two, Linda, it is quite interesting to note that we will be talking about intergenerational dialogue for leaders. Because one thing that I believe is bothering Mheshimiwa Mwangaza of Meru is probably she looks at the MCAs and she's seeing people who look like her children. That you can just call them and say, wewe kijana kuja hapa. My friend, these are elected people. Some of them, in fact, probably got more votes, Linda, than probably you as a governor combined. Yeah. There are details, nitty-gritties that leaders in 2022 of the Republic of Kenya, some of them, will have to take note of. Because the median age of an elected MCA today is not more than 45 years. Yeah. But if you look at Governor Mwangaza, she looks quite elderly. Now, age and intergenerational issues here will not become primary, honestly. Yeah. Is service delivery, is a degree to which you exercise governance. And remember, as we already said earlier on, and my colleagues also spoke to this, you will need these wonderful people. They are called honorable members. You will need them to pass your cabinet. Without a cabinet, how are you going to implement your manifesto through the CIDP? You will need these people, these wonderful people, to pass your budget. Without them, how are you going to get money, despite the supplementary budget issues, which of course have a time limit and it will expire? You will need the county assembly to appropriate a budget for you. Linda, my prayer is that governors across board, and I'm sure that governors have now been very innovative, and this is not the first time we're talking about challenges between governors and their MCAs. We have had this discussion in the first generation of county governments. the second generation in 2017, and now a third one in 2022, moving further even to look at how governors have learned to work with their deputies.
Yes.
Because remember that there are also about 11 counties that initially were unable, where governors were unable to work very well with their deputies. But counties have moved on. In fact, in some counties today, deputy governors are even given responsibilities to the level of a CEC. It is a good thing. It is a good practice. It is a better innovation. That is my prayer to the governor of Meru County. Your independence means nothing to us. Whether you are elected in a party from heaven or you are an independent political, independent candidate, I think that really rested when the people of Meru had that confidence and they said it is this lady who is going to give us our dreams, because you have also been a leader there. You have been a women rep. You have engaged and you are engaging with other leaders who are also elected. I am looking forward to a situation where the governor will call for a forum of leaders to address the challenges that are affecting the people of Meru. And Linda, this is not the only county where challenges are happening just about 50 days post the elections.
Yes,
counties are grappling with serious challenges, and governors have had a mechanism to deal with their own challenges without necessarily shouting on the media, calling press conferences, because that is the worst mistake you can make as a leader. But I want to invite Mheshimiwa Mwangaza to County Governance Watch. We will help you navigate the challenges of engaging with your MCAs. I want to invite Council of Governors to help one of their own. We now have more than 4 women, I think there are 7, who have been elected governors. I want to call them, that caucus of women governors, to work with Mheshimiwa Mwangaza and help her to deal with the realities, because otherwise Waswahili wasema fali wawili wakipigana ni nyasi ndio umea. The people who are going to hurt and feel very troubled are not these few people who are fighting. It is going to be the people of Meru County, the people who woke up very early in the morning, navigated the challenges of politics and campaigns during that particular hard time. And even as we speak today, people are dying. People want food. People want water, Linda. They don't want to be seen to be fighting.
And
so, Governor, Your Excellency, get back to work. Keep your county on toes. Deliver for the people of Meru.
All right, and we'll be coming to that as well as get to understand just how well then the likes of Homa Bay Governor is going to handle hers. But then briefly picking it up from what Kevin mentions. And Honorable Ndegwa here has mentioned or has alluded to this fact that, it was more or less like a nightmare for him to operate, that is in Nyandarua, with the existence of the governor then, that is Francis Kimemia, at the level of the speaker. How much more for those ones that really want to get some of these benefits go down to their very own people? I have hosted a governor here, it should have been the first time or the second time, a governor who told me outrightly that woe unto those MCAs really that are not in good books with the governor, because evidently, as you would expect, not so much of development will go to their people. And so for Kevin Osido to argue that you really do not need, as a member of county assembly, to relate well with the governor, but simply, of course, you need to relate well with the law for some of these developments to be realized for your people. Is that really true? You are a second-time member of county assembly. Second time or third? Second time. I mean, it's a lucky one for that matter. Just how important is it for you to be in good books with the governor to realize some of these, nitty-gritty details, even in the aspect of lobbying for your people?
I want to thank Kevin and also Speaker Ndegwa here, because they are basically saying the same thing, and which is very, very important. And it's very wrong for any governor to say that they can only develop the areas whereby they are agreeing with the MCAs there, where the MCAs are singing praises to them. And I think most of our governors need to borrow from our president. Our president is even in the forefront of saying our side will propose a change of standing orders so that the ministers he's appointing will be audited even more and even more closely by the National Assembly by attending the plenary. So this takes me back again to our serving governor in Nyeri. And I really want to congratulate him, because at some point, in fact, it involved me myself, because there were some differences I had with some of the departments in the county. And the governor was being prevailed upon, oh, governor, please, act on this guy. He has become too much. He's really criticizing. I think there are issues to do with the environment. But the governor said, you must remember there is this man called Kiruga, and they are the people of Chinga. Right. You cannot tell me to punish the people of Chinga just because the MCA have some issues.
But this is happening.
Yeah, I know it does. But then again, and I want again to congratulate Speaker Degwa here, that is why they have been fighting for the independence of the, county assemblies, financial independence of the county assemblies, such that it doesn't matter whether the MCA agrees or doesn't agree with the governor. The development management for that ward must be, must go to those people. Now, look here, one thing that needs to be understood and must happen in this country, and I think now that we have joined the CAF Governing Council, we shall seriously push for this, the Ward Development Fund. This will be the answer and the remedy, the panacea to these challenges we have been seeing. For example, if a ward is allocated 30 million or 50 million, whether the government or whether the governor likes it or not, that money should be utilized in that ward as the MCA, oversights those developments. Because one problem we have, and Speaker Dewa has mentioned it here, that Meru MCAs have come here, they are saying, please, Governor Munyal did this, Governor Kreto did this, allocate us this amount, maybe 20, 30, 40 million per ward. And then, as a governor, you want to go to the media and fight these people, and the MCAs, or there is something else the Meru MCAs are saying, I don't know whether you people have heard it. They are saying, Governor, you are the one who have been elected, as the leader of this area. Yeah. It's not your husband. They are saying it. So, we will not be taking instructions from your relatives. And you see even the EACC is coming in and saying, oh no, you have elected irregularly, this relative, that relative. So the issue is this. It is totally wrong when MCAs are telling you, because Linda, one thing about leadership, whether you are an MCA, whether you are an MP, whomever you are, our people down there, the most important aspect is about what resources are coming to them. And that is very, very important. That, to a large extent, determines whether people will re-elect you or not. It's about resources. So, any governor or any leader, and that is why you have seen even our MPs frantically fighting to save the CDF, even if it means changing the law and bringing it back in another form, because the people down there
require this.
For them, it's not about stories. It's about what is this leader, either directly or indirectly, able to bring to us. And that explains, leader, why you see, like in Nyeri County, I told you here last time, 16 MCAs were re-elected out of 30. The governor was re-elected. All the 6 MPs were sent home. Why? Because much as you want to align with the good party, the best party, even that party have, those nominations. And so to the people down there, it is about the projects and the resources that trickle down to them. So that's quite important, and it is totally bad that leaders elected, and I thank Kevin because he is really hammering this so well.
Yeah.
Leaders elected by people, right? MCAs representing their people. They are coming, they are telling you, kindly, we need these resources, bring 50 million per ward for our people. Previous governors have been doing it, kindly do it also. Then you are giving these leaders a very bad name.
Okay.
That they want you to bribe them. That is very, very wrong. I think even we at the CAF Governing Council will take from where the Speaker Degwa's team has reached in supporting our colleagues who may be being bad-mouthed for just doing their work of demanding resources from their people.
You see, the most unfortunate thing, Mheshimiwa, and I will remind you, perhaps as I take it to Honorable Ndegwa Wahome, is that there were also allegations that during was it the Sagana 3, or was it when there was that moment of the BBI? It wasn't the Sagana 3, I think it was prior, the BBI, that, you know, while it was the right for the members of county assembly to get the car grants, it appeared like it was more of, you know, a bribe for you to sail through this very document. And indeed, members of county assemblies enjoyed that money, including those ones that I've had on set here, and numerous other occasions where there have been cases of, you know, they want us to bribe them, they want us to give them this money so that they can sail this through. Perhaps that's the reason why then this governor would be justified to argue that way, in as much as it would be misplaced. So as you make your statements on that very note, and how then this is quelled at the level of Meru County, we still have Homa Bay County, but even better, perhaps your view on what is happening in Nairobi County. If you look at Mheshimiwa here, pretty much organized. Appears like, you know, there's really nothing much, but I can tell you, for the better part of last week and last week but one, we have been reporting on the case of Nairobi. And in as much as they're in the best of books with the governor, questions are, when do they get the CECs working? When do they get the activities and the desires of the people of Nairobi County into action?
I think it's very unfortunate. We have tried, and actually the image of the members of the county assembly has improved tremendously.
Okay.
From when we set in 2013. And members of the county assembly, actually the biggest concentration of very good, polished and focused brains. You will find them in the county assemblies. With our members with the PhDs, the master's degrees, graduates, business people, people working in with non-government organization, people, community workers. Yeah. We have everybody within it is a very rich reservoir for leadership in this country. But we are quick to be accused when we demand for things to be done the right way. And oversight is not liked by especially those with executive authority. And that is why an MC will always be accused. So that, and we always say, and I liked the former governor, the first governor for Bomet, always used to say that when you want to kill a dog, you give it a bad name. So that when you are killing it, everybody else is quiet. So the MCs, they have tried over and over to give the MCs a bad name. And again, reader from independence is that there are some people who have been fighting devolution, and MCs are the real face of devolution. Okay. Only now that almost everybody now seems resigned that the devolution is here to stay. Like in the case for the car grant, that is an issue of discrimination under Article 27 and 38 of the Constitution. Members of Parliament are facilitated to be able to perform their duties. But an MCA who is performing the same role, allocated to Parliament, but in a smaller space, in the role of a member of Parliament and an MCA is the same. It is in all force. But the member of the county assembly is discriminated. And when it came to the BBI, and I think I have previously come here and Rita told you that that was one of the reasons why I had my problems in Nyandarua. Governor Kimemia capitalized on the fact that I was the face of resistance to BBI without the car grant. Because I thought it was unconstitutional to deny the members of the county assembly the car grant when the same was being made to the members of parliament. And when the car facilitation was being given to the members of parliament, that is not a bribe. But when it is being given to the MCAs, it is a bribe. It is a bribe.
It is the time. You know, again, in politics, you have to read the time in Mheshimiwa.
Yes, but what we are saying is that it was the right time. Whatever time you do it,
is it?
The right thing, it has no timeline. It is when you do it, it will remain right.
Honorable Anthony Konya acknowledged that, you know, this is literally a bribe, Linda, in as much as I've gotten it. He was a member of parliament, a member of county assembly then. And also the side of Kenya Kwanza, where it is that you reside. So evidently it looked like really it was...
Actually, it was the right thing to do. It was the constitutional thing to do.
Okay.
And for us, it happened at that time, and it was the right time. And I would want to say, Leader, to fortify that position, is that now, today, it is wrong that the members of the county assemblies are getting transport facilitation. And over and above that, what we negotiated for was the car grant as members of parliament. Now, we have even gotten more. That vehicle you have bought, we have some money to maintain that vehicle every month for our members to be able to discharge their duties. So, therefore, I would want to say that as MCAs, is that we don't go to be bribed. And I think, like my MCAs in Nyandarua, they went through very hard times. Some of them were even thrown out of Bunge so that they could compromise their conscience and the aspirations of the people of Nyandarua. They remained without salaries for 8 months and sacrificed what was right. And therefore, I'm saying here we have devoted leaders and who actually perform to the best interest of the people. In Meru, when they are asking for the 60 million, that 60 million is not for them, it is for their wards. Because some governors, unfortunately, a governor who is even serving the first term wants to segregate and discriminate against some of the wards. That governor is punishing the MCA. How do you punish the MCA but by not delivering services to the people, the common mwananchi, by not delivering medicine in the dispensary in Shinga ward because we are punishing Keroga. Keroga does not eat drugs. They are supposed to go and treat the people.
Right.
So even some of these governors, they should do introspection, look inside themselves and ask themselves their conscience in their quietness. Ask themselves, is what am I doing? Is it right? Yeah. Is it for the interest of my people and the interest of my country? I would want to say about Homa Bay, I think some of these things, they are becoming comical. Why would a governor really want 11 seriously advisors?
The too many?
You have CECs, 10 of them. Okay. You have chief officers, 15 of them. You have directors, the most experienced and technical people in government. Actually, the CECs should just give strategic and policy direction. The people who work are the directors. Why Wanga would want to have 11 advisors?
Perhaps a replica of what is happening at the national government.
Actually,
we all have all these plus
national
advisors.
It's a very serious issue. Okay. Like now, the president is saying the matter of gender mainstreaming, we need somebody to work on it. Like Harriet Shigai. And we thank the president for that. Yeah. Because we know her passion about the issues of gender. And it has been given that docket. And then there is an economic advisor. Bottom up as well. And to straighten it and polish it up and structure it. You need it. For the president is different. And actually he requires several to be able to move the country forward. But for a governor, really, it's a little bit you are looking for salaries for people, not to work
who are Kenyans really, and employment is on the rise.
No, but you don't get people to get salaries. You get people to work and to expand the economy so that many of us can get into job spaces. But when you eat everything, there is nothing to expand the economy. Where do you get jobs?
Just where was the board when this was happening is one question we'd ask. Let me take it away from you and to Mheshimiwa here, and perhaps then back to Nairobi. From the Kidero moment, which really was the beginning of devolution, and therefore said that we had teething problems, and then Sonko came, took it up with so much confidence, and a little bit of a shift and changes here, radical ones for that matter. Before you know it, Sonko is impeached and is out of the office, and then there's NMS. Before you know it, then there's Kananu. A lot of confusion, and therefore we can confidently say that the city really hasn't gotten it right in terms of devolution. And so the next reign we are looking forward to is to see that they at least bring some essence of change. That when we're talking about success of devolution, then we'll be benchmarking in Nairobi. We'll be looking to see the difference as you come in for the very first time, or for the very first term for that matter. What do you expect of Nairobi? And I'm sure you've traversed the different parts, and perhaps as a leader, have looked at some of the things that really need to be adjusted in Nairobi for us to get it right in a place where the national government sits.
Linda, allow me also to weigh in on the discussion that was going on.
Yes.
And what is happening now is that the Constitution gives the mandate, the governor, the executive role. The CRA allocates a big budget to the governor, but it is so silent on the areas or on how to distribute it equally in all the wards. That's why now we get that contentious aspect whereby the MCAs want to see development on their side, but the governors want the MCAs to be at the mercy of the governor. That thing of we want every ward to be allocated 60 billion. Like even in Nairobi, we have asked the governor that for each ward, at least we want to know how much will be allocated. Not for us to implement, but for us to oversight, because our role is so clear. We cannot implement, but we want to see each and every ward being developed equally, without any discrimination. So we don't have to be the friends. I don't have to be the friend of a governor. I don't have to have any relationship with a governor for my ward to be developed. But I want an assurance that for every financial year, I'll be getting a certain amount which will be in my ward. Not for me to implement, but the same executive to assure me that that 60 million will be allocated to my ward. But this is where now the problem comes. The governor wants to do at his own will. Which ward do I develop? Which one do I allocate this road? Which one do I do this? But that is now why we need to have like a ward development fund, which will help us for every ward to know that we are assured, even without working with a governor, even if the governor does not like me, I'm assured that my people are going to be allocated this amount, which will be, we want it to be anchored in the constitution, not to be left at the discretion of the governor, which makes it very risky for us to give development. Now coming same to Nairobi, we have a governor who have been a legislature for the last 10 years in the National Assembly and also at the Senate. We are expecting that it will be smooth, not as before, because he understands the oversight role. Even in his opening county assembly speech, he said that he is going to ensure that the oversight role of the governor or at the executive level, it is going to be effective. He is going to allocate a lot of funds which are there for the assembly so that they can do the oversight role. He's going also to work closely because he promised to have a liaison committee which will be like a link between the executive and the assembly. This one makes it work better than the previous government, which we've seen having troubles between the executive and the assembly. This one makes it better for Nairobi to implement its mandate and also to deliver on the promises made to the Nairobi people on the service delivery for Nairobi County. Yes.
All right, well put. Allow us to take a quick short break and then we come back, expound further on what is happening in Homa Bay, but most importantly, just getting to understand some more on what way forward devolution. That should be after this short break.
The home of untold stories. How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business, farming. Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga,
and music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business, farming. Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga,
and music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business, farming. Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga.
and music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m.
I've always longed to occupy these very positions. Before it even gets to that, Homa Bay County, in your opinion?
Homa Bay County will rise.
Okay.
And the county will rise because Governor Gladys Wanga is a very powerful lady. And I think that one of the challenges that Homa Bay County has are partly what Meru County is going through: personality issues, leadership and character. Let me call it leadership, character, development issues. But in saying so, I also need to add that, when you're a governor, people expect a lot from you. But what we forget is that none of these people, particularly from Homa Bay County, for example, Mheshimiwa Wanga has never been a governor. Yes, she's been a women rep, but she's never been a governor. So the expectation that you know it all, people probably have an opportunity or a mentality that you carry everything with you, you know it all, you can be able to do some magic and get things working. Linda, if you speak to these people in private, our Kenyan leaders are going through stuff, even MCAs, people are going through serious issues. At the glimmer of lights, at the front of cameras, we look very good, we look very composed, we look very smart, we look like we are making it. But deep down, people are going through a lot of issues. So I'm saying this so that I can say that we need to embrace a 4Ps partnership model of governance, where, for example, you talk about people. These people have to engage in a partnership. You have to bring in participation of people, and therefore to be able to make the planet a better place. The expectation that the governor knows it all, I don't think is the worst thing that, I believe is the worst thing that we can be able to do. So a call to Homa Bay that we give Mheshimiwa time. It's quite unfortunate that the people of Western Kenya, particularly Luo Nyanza, have gone through a lot of challenges, in my view, within leadership perspectives. The expectation that Mheshimiwa Raila was going to be president and that things would just be magic. They've been saying it in funerals, that we were never hoping to be in the opposition. Leader, that's already died, and people have to move on with their governors. So let people regroup. The intellectuals of Homa Bay County need to come back. The well-learned people of Homa Bay need to come back. And of course, all the other counties, including Siaya, where I come from. At least Governor Orengo has picked a different mechanism or model of leadership of ensuring that people participate. But he knows there has been an elected member for more than 20 years, but you can barely touch something that Orengo did as an MP. For 10 years, he's been a senator. You can barely touch something that he did. So every day we keep telling him and challenging him, you must make Siaya better. You must make Siaya County a better place and a greater place. So he is alive to those issues. And I'm calling for the people of Homa Bay to embrace a similar spirit. The governor has to come down and be willing to be challenged, be willing to be listened to. The expectation that you are the god of the county, which is what I think is happening with most governors. Remember, we said earlier on, Linda, that county governments are independent but interdependent. The county assembly has a very role in what you do as a governor through the executive. The judiciary, even through the office of the county attorney, of course, all these are people who are nominated and then given their jobs by the governors. But the moment you're the county attorney, your role to advise the governor becomes to the fore. It doesn't matter where you come from. The opportunity to provide proper legal guidance, which I think is what most county governments are missing. People are so much scared of losing their jobs, Linda, as opposed to just providing proper legal advice to your governors and to the people that you lead. So quite unfortunate that counties are beginning through this, and we're talking about Meru today, we are talking about Nairobi County, which should be the county up in the sun. We are talking about Homa Bay County, but I believe that the Constitution of Kenya and all the supportive legislations have given us opportunities. Even in how you give people jobs. You can't go around picking people and then you put them in offices because they're your relatives. It is unconstitutional. It is opaque. It is null and void. Follow the law, because that is a mechanism that you have, the opportunity you have as a governor to be able to do the right things. Otherwise, failure to that, Linda, I think the people, as I said earlier on, and my colleagues, co-panelists are saying, who are going to be hurting are the people who woke up so early in the morning to vote for us. I believe that devolution is in the right track, and with the right leadership, like I think what we have, the right political goodwill at the county, at the national level, albeit the fact that Mheshimiwa Ruto has not looked at devolution as an opportunity to have its own ministry, is given almost all those roles to his deputy president, which is something I think I embrace, because the moment you have a deputy president who can sit with governors and is even willing to, and I hope he'll be willing to move to Mount Kenya and deal with the Meru issues, and would be willing to move to Homa Bay County to deal with some of the issues in Homa Bay. Once you have an individual who is interested in seeing to it that devolution works and that people are at the center of decision making, why not partner with national governments? And that's where the institutions of good governance, Center for Parliamentary Studies, County Assemblies Forum, Council of Governors, County Governance Watch, and others really rest at that level. Governors should be willing to open up the spaces for them to be helped, and don't kill yourself to be a governor of a county, including Homa Bay County.
Well put. Well, interesting. Gentlemen, I don't know whether devolution is working when you get this report of the 20 about ASO counties where there's drought, where there's starvation. For instance, Turkana County. And you ask yourself, these pictures that we see from there, even before we start questioning the national government, what is the essence of devolution in such counties? Even usile chunga usiseme kitu mbaya
Asante. Thank you so much. Now, before I tackle that one, I think I would want, there is something you said, Linda, and it is good to draw the line, because you talked of if the president is having such a number of advisors,
yes,
why can't it be done at the counties? And these are different entities.
Okay.
Look, the president covers
all the 47 counties.
Yes, and even some very crucial areas. Look like the extrajudicial killings that have been happening in this country. Now you see the president is even sitting with LSK, something that has not been happening in this country.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a very obnoxious thing that has been happening in this country. And there are several other issues that have been taking place. And definitely, the president seems to be touching the right buttons, because these are things that must be stopped. You know, we have killer gangs in police, in KWS, in forest department that have been snatching our people in broad daylight and killing them, you see? And the president is saying, no, we have to stop these things. And many other areas, economic areas, you name it. So, to the extent that these things must be addressed, the president seems, and he's working really well on it. But you see now, you cannot come to the county assemblies, or sorry, to the county governments, and then you want to have 20 advisors. And as the Speaker Dewa rightly observed, you have CECs, you have chief officers, you have directors. No, I think as part of our oversight work, we cannot actually, with me, I don't see assemblies approving such a thing. But then, just as we were saying, the best thing is let both sides, the executive and the assemblies, listen to one another. And the good thing is that if you sit down with proper goodwill, almost always, you know, you come to a compromise. Then coming to the issue of drought in our counties, you know, Kiswahili they say, ajali haina kinga. And you know, this is like...
Is this an accident, really?
Yeah, this is a national thing. You know, there is no rain. It's funny that even some people are trying to blame the William Ruto administration for the drought. You know, that is how desperate people get politically at times. Now, how can you blame a government that is barely 3 months old?
How can you not?
How?
How can
no,
you not?
Unless
no,
look, unless you show us the Ruto government is responsible for failure of rain. If anything, this government has acted so fast, and in fact, the president himself has told the county governors, if it comes to choosing between development and saving the lives of our people, save lives first. You can put on hold some development projects for some time. We save the lives of our people. So this government, the William Ruto government, has started on the right footing. I think you have seen even the first lady, the second lady, the wife, the deputy president, they are spending all their time, you see, dealing with these matters. So I think the reaction or what the county governments and the national governments are doing in terms of the drought that we are experiencing, so far it's very commendable. But of course, you know, these efforts must be intensified because, and the president have said, we must ensure no Kenyan loses life because of the drought.
Okay.
And I think the efforts that have been put in place are quite commendable.
Omondi is asking if the first lady and the second lady are also moving around. And one of the stories that you've run today, Linda, is that one of the first lady, you know, doing a noble cause, you know, in some of the hunger-stricken areas. Why is it then that in Meru County, the first man cannot be allowed to...
No, just a small rejoinder. No, if we were seeing the first man in Meru County soliciting for food to be given to those who are starving, in fact, we would clap. In fact, I would mobilize.
Not as good.
Entertainment is okay, but you see, and we want to, I don't want to be the judge.
Okay.
But when you hear elected leaders saying, and because you see now, it has become a situation whereby we are addressing one another through the media, because that is what the governor is doing anyway, and they are saying through the media, no, we are not going to take orders from your letter.
But they can't sit down to listen to...
That is it is the governor to initiate that. You know, an MCA, you know, cannot... If you invite the governor, because that is what the MCAs did, they said we are inviting the governor for a sitting, but there is nothing else they can say, they can do from there. So it is for the governor to say, and even look for some elders, MCAs, please come, we sit down and discuss these issues. So the MCAs are ready to be entertained. The masses are ready to be entertained. If the first man want to go and ask for food, even we ourselves, we will said, but what I heard with my own ears is that MCAs are saying, we are ready to deal with you, but we are not ready to take orders from your relatives.
That means they have, yes, and those are two sisters, including the first man. All right. Honorable Mheshimiwa, we come back to you briefly before we go to the chair. I mean, just what is the essence of devolution? If we're talking about these drought-stricken areas, you know, areas with starvation, it is fine to some extent, then this becomes a national government problem. But what is devolution doing in this case? I am told that there are counties where the governors have decided that, well, these monies were set for this, but we're going to shift them to this other side so that they can address this dire moment and this moment of priority as pertaining to starvation.
The essence of devolution is services reaching to the most smallest unit of the country. And the smallest unit, political division or unit is the ward. And counties have been allocated funds for such emergency occurrences, such as drought or fire or whatever. It is the mandate of these counties to effectively make sure that whatever is allocated for these emergencies or whatever is happening at the county, such as drought, effectively is able to reach at the county level, at the ward level, so that most of the people who are affected by this drought can be able at least to be helped to mitigate the effects of this drought. But at the national level, it is the mandate of the national government to be able to at least consolidate funds from different stakeholders and international bodies so that these funds can be able also to mitigate the effects of this drought. Effectively, we have seen maybe like our deputy who has been able to meet with the governors on the counties which are most affected, and we've been seeing like the food distribution processes or programs at the county level. Like yesterday, I was able to see the Laikipia area where we had Mheshimiwa Kionjuri and the first lady, not the first lady, the second lady, the wife to Dr. Pastor Dorcas.
Yes.
They were distributing foods. Once we have this good relation between the national government and the county government, we can have a good working relation to mitigate the drought effects at the areas which are hitting most, especially at the drought-stricken counties. With that, I think we can be able to at least have an effective way of being able to deal with the droughts. Another thing is, we need also to have the national government devolve much of the funds at the agriculture for the agriculture department, because agriculture is a function of the county assembly. But we've seen the bulk of the budget remains at the national assembly, at the national government. This one does not work well, because if most of the funds are being devolved to the counties, we are going to have more activities on agriculture that will be able to at least help to mitigate these drought programs, which will help the counties also to deal with the drought. But if the government still remain with the bulk of the government at the agricultural docket, it still makes the counties to be ineffective in dealing with the drought program or the programs at the county level. It is very important that the national government also devolves much of the funds that are meant for the county assembly, or not the county assembly, the county government, so that they may be able also to deal with this menace of drought once and for all. If we have that one, maybe in the next 5 or 10 years, drought will be a thing of the past, because we are going to see many programs like the borehole drilling. We are going to empower our agricultural sector at the county level, and by that I think we are set to go, and we won't be having that much problem in the few years to come. Yes.
Mheshimiwa, allow me to loop in Kevin so that we can release him to get to some other duties, and then we come to you for your parting shots as well. Kevin Osido, as you give us your parting shots, we'll ask the same question. Just what is the essence of devolution in some of these matters that really would require the attention as well of the governors? You know, even before we talk about the drought situation, some of the pictures that we see, and you have had the privilege of traveling different parts of the country, really, you go to places like Turkana, and even the basic amenities you cannot get to see. And you ask yourself, 10 years or 11, 12 years into devolution, what has it done for the people of this very county? When you look at the papers this morning, one of them speaks of dreams deferred, and that going to school not an option for starving children. And clearly we have seen them. Even those ones that are in school or in class are not able to concentrate. You know, you have seen this big boy who was crying literally, being asked, why is it that you're not concentrating in class? They've not had food for I don't know how many days. And even the class itself is not really what you would look at and say that, you know, now this is a nice space, a safe space for my child to get to, earn, education or to learn, in all aspects. So really, what is the essence of devolution?
Linda, thank you so much for for that very important question. The essence of devolution is purely to bring governance closer to the people. Governance in terms of decision making, and governance in terms of the manner in which resources are also utilized and also appropriated. Now, I want to appeal to the MCAs in studio to consider having conversations in their county assemblies insofar as the state of the nation is concerned, particularly this matter of drought. There may be a lot of activity at the national level through the people that we are mentioning, the First Lady or even the Deputy President and the others, but it must not escape us that agriculture is a devolved government function in Schedule 4 of the Constitution. Disaster and risk management is a devolved function as far as Schedule 4 of the Constitution of Kenya 2010 is concerned. And these are matters that therefore rest at the doorstep of the governor and also the MCA of the area. So the county governor and the members of the county assembly. I want to appeal to my co-panelists that when we retreat, please go back to your assemblies and have candid, conclusive conversations insofar as what we need to do as a country. It is not enough to say that governors are, of course, moving monies from meant for this, meant for that. The Constitution, I believe, and also read together the Public Finance Management Act allows them, and through the county assemblies, they have the supplementary budgets to be able to look at what monies, the resources they have, and how that money can be able to be moved. It is not enough, Linda, to have people dying, to have our livestock, people losing livestock like we see happening today. In the era of COP27, climate change issues, we have to also move further and ask ourselves, what are the mitigative measures that county assemblies have put in place to not only address disaster and risk issues, but also to look at the wider effects of climate change. The president is talking about planting trees in 2022. Some of us have been planting trees since we were in class 4. Just after the elections, I planted 2,222 trees in my own homestead, and the president didn't have to say it. So the mechanism of that environment-friendly personal venture that you undertake in a very small area, even to plant trees, will be quite a positive change in many years when those trees really grow up. So I believe that as county governments, we also need to look at what are our human actions and how do they relate to what is happening with our climate today. County governments need to look at what it means, particularly for areas where there is drought, the 23 counties. What does it mean for their budgets? What does it mean for people to have livestock being moved, maybe from Mandera or Isiolo to Meru or even to Kakamega Forest? What does that mean insofar as the county resources are concerned in value addition? For areas where we have livestock that is, of course, dying on the farms, what does that mean to county governments in terms of losses, in terms of on-source revenue for counties whose assemblies have passed laws where farmers are being charged for paying for rearing livestock, and you have them within the counties and you have to pay for each of them a certain amount of money as a revenue generation measure? What does that mean for the governor? What does it mean for the county assemblies? What does it mean for the farmers who cannot be able to have farms to take their livestock, and even those who have milk and they are, those dairy farmers who therefore do not have markets? These are issues that need to be discussed beyond normal conversations, Linda. By constitution, they are functions of the counties, and I am privileged to be speaking with the MCAs this morning. Next time, maybe you'll be referring to me as Excellency Governor, not this County Executive Watch Director, Linda. Honorable. You keep inviting me to speak to honorable members, and I just have a small title. It is high time. Executive Director. So next time it will be Your Excellency Kevin Osido. And I'm looking forward to that, because I don't want to have fights with you anymore for, always talking to Your Excellencies, and you feel like I am in a way segregating you. No, it's okay. God's time. But then again, 2,000 trees in your homestead. I need to be invited there.
Not all of us.
Yeah, please, you're welcome. 2,022 trees.
How big is this homestead of yours? Well, anyway.
It is quite, you can come, Linda, but I think the most important thing is we need to move this conversation from looking at drought and risk issues as a role of the county government. Even as an individual, we need to look at what is my contribution to making my environment better. What can I do to be able to engage? Remember, as we speak today, there are county governments who are actually giving moratoriums for people who have I've forgotten the name, but there is when you talk about climate fund issues, there are farmers who benefit from planting trees and how that contributes to the benefit of clean environment and green energy within their environments. County assemblies need to also have this kind of progressive conversations. How do we create awareness to our farmers to make our environments better? Otherwise, livestock dying across, children and people being unable to go to school, Linda, because there is drought, it is not new. And it is not happening because President Ruto is the president. It has been happening. I think one of the things we have not done very well as a country is to sit back and think through the policies that we have to mitigate over some of these risks and some of these disasters that we have. Otherwise, I thank you so much for this opportunity, and it's been quite an engaging process. We are wishing our county governments all the best. Governors, let's come down to the level of our MCAs. MCAs, let's look at county governors as partners in development and people who, of course, have a very powerful responsibility as chief executive officers. That is what the County Governments Act calls them. But in your being a chief executive officer of the county, how do you engage with the other institutions of governance? The County Assembly, a very powerful tool. Let's embrace them to make our counties a better place. Citizens, the Constitution gives you Article 1.1 of the Constitution. Sovereign power has been given to you. All the messes that are taking place in the counties, we can stop them. Writing petitions, questioning our county governments. When the governor thinks she or he cannot be in the same WhatsApp group with MCAs, ask him or her why. It doesn't cost you anything other than bundles to be in the same WhatsApp group. Is it because you're being abused? If you're being abused, what is the character of the leaders that people elected? We must get to the level, Linda, in my view, and fellow panelists, of speaking to each other. Well, let's engage, let's talk, let's have a conversation as opposed to talking at each other. Thank you.
All right, interesting. Thank you so much, Kevin Osido, for creating time to speak to us this morning. Mheshimiwa, just what then is the essence of devolution in this? For a moment it got me thinking and looking at the pictures of, Turkana and these other counties, that we have members of county assemblies of this very people, of these wards, and that these members of county assemblies then would go to the assembly to have discussions and conversations, as pertaining to their county. Unless you tell me there are no members of county assemblies for this. If you just open the newspaper that you have yourself and look at the pictures there, there are members of county assemblies there.
Okay, maybe what I would say.
What newspaper do you have? Which one is that? It's a Daily Nation.
Yes.
I think I also have the same. I understand it as well. Honestly, I'm told I should take a short break, and then I come back. We have 10 minutes for you to respond as we close. Okay. Thank you.
You are watching TV 47, the home of untold stories. On the next episode of The Realtor.
Yeah, people will buy RAD 1 as an investment for construction.
How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business, farming. Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga.
and music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business, farming. Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga.
and music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m.
Institutions of criminal justice. And by that we are talking about the judiciary. Already the president has done what he is supposed to do with the judiciary. He has also committed to ensure that parliament allocates judiciary the money it needs to be able to run the administration of justice in this country. The DPP will be freed and allowed to do their work ethically and professionally. The DCI The police have already been given their money. They don't have to go begging to the CS for interior to be able to perform their duties. So what I know is that there was this very heinous and sad philosophy of political correctness, that you can do anything in this country as long as you are shouting those clarion calls that are supposed to be done by those in power at that particular time. And Nyandarua is a very good case study. So therefore, once we strengthen the criminal justice system, that every person holding executive power and public funds knows that there will be retributions, there will be sanctions in case they transgress on the expenditure of these monies, then I'm telling you, devolution will work. If you go to the villages, you'll find people that they get into government as just a crack with the salaries of that 1,000. And within a year, they are building flats and driving the top of the range vehicles. When our people cannot have anything to eat, because they know there is nothing. Actually, one of them, a young man, told me that the mistake you can make is to steal little money. You have to steal enough for police, for judiciary, and for everybody else. And then you know that you are going to live comfortably. We have to stem that. And people appreciate that public resources are a no-go zone. And that way devolution will grow. The other issue is oversight. There is this misunderstanding between the roles of the Senate and the County Assembly. Like Keruga Duku here, they will do a very good report on the public accounts, on the audit report by the Auditor General. But that their report is rubbished, because at the end of the day, Senate has the final word. So the MCAs, they are every day, they are oversight the governor, they write very good reports about what is happening, but the final word is the Senate. And our audit report, our reports from the audit, they are treated like reference materials. So there must be a way where the Senate will sit with the County Assemblies Forum and agree how they manage their roles under the Constitution. The Senate has control over all the resources allocated to the county government. The county government and the MCAs have a role over that money allocated by the national government, and also the money is collected from the counties. Right. So this is something that we have to streamline, and I'm happy that with the Governor Kingi as the Speaker of the Senate, and with very many progressive senators now, most of them who are even MCAs, that we are going to be able to speak. The other issue, Linda, is that the President is addressing, is futuristic in the actions that he is taking. That instead of subsidizing unga, let us support our farmers so that they produce enough for this country. And that is how to solve these problems. I know in Nyandarua, that Nyandarua is not a poor county. Farmers who went to their stores and took seeds, maize seeds from their last harvest. They planted using manure because they could not afford fertilizer. If you give the farmers in Nyandarua certified seeds, and you support them with the subsidized fertilizer, I'm telling you, Nyandarua can easily feed this country. But now, without that support, it will not work. Our country, we have been more accurate in forecasting on political outcomes, not forecasting on weather. Unfortunately. Because seriously, how did we not see this drought coming 3 years ago?
That is why I asked if you were here.
French.
Is that really, something that caught us by surprise?
No, it is not.
The Ruto government was not.
It is not. So therefore, we are forecasting on other issues, distracted by mediocre and side shows, when we know that calamity is coming. And I'm also surprised at this time, leader, that we have not seen the governors of Northeastern. If I was a governor in the Northeastern region, I would have brought them together. The Madeira, Garissa, Wajir, Marsabit, and to an extent in Sioro. We put together some money. Dams cost a lot to build. But those 5 counties can contribute even 500 million each. Put a mega dam in the highest point, and then water flows to the rest of those 4 counties. And we go about 3-4 billion. And we are going to almost feed everybody in the northern part. You even convince the farmers, livestock farmers, that by contributing into the local revenue, that this will go to us, creating water points, so that their livestock can also survive and they are able to support the government and even support themselves. But it seems that we don't look at the issues critically and find solutions, because before you make the first step, you must know what is the end game.
Right.
Where am I going to? So I think we need, as leaders, that we are in offices not to enrich ourselves. We are trustees of the future. We are given that privilege and favor by God. Let us solve our people's problems. We have very clear roadmap and infrastructure of moving from point A to the last point, adhering this country.
Well put, Mheshimiwa. I couldn't agree more.
Linda, you know, it's good to clarify. You know, the Kenya Kwanza government is 2 months old. Those who failed to forecast were the Jubilee government.
Mheshimiwa, do not celebrate just yet.
No, we are not celebrating anything.
While we require long-term solutions, we also need
in fact, let me remind you, Linda. Whenever President William Ruto, back then the deputy president, used to talk about such mitigating factors, he used to be dismissed. At that time, all they looked at was, which side are you speaking from? And if you are speaking from...
You know, we have had these cases even in the first reign of the
the issue I'm telling you is this. Jubilee failed to plan beforehand. And in fact, Kenya Kwanza government needs to be commended highly because they have tried the best. You know, when you hear the president saying, please put on hold all the development plans to save lives. I don't think there is any better. What we need to know, because you know, these experiences should be lessons for the future. Because if you talked about the need to focus on the need to do this and that because the drought may be coming, they would just dismiss you. They would be saying, that person from Kenya Kwanza is just making noise. So it's a big lesson that we must not elevate politics to a point whereby we are braided to realities of life.
And beyond the politics, Mheshimiwa, we're looking to see where the Kenya go.
Yeah, the Kenya Kwanza government, you know, the good thing is that they are proving it practically. So my parting shot are that, like my senior here, Mheshimiwa Wakili, is saying, and again, I want to commend him. We will be calling him from time to time to come and impact his wisdom on CAF. These are the things we want to discuss. We want to complement what the national government is doing to address the challenges facing our people. And most importantly, I think now everyone have seen the need, you know, to have an independent way of allocating resources so that devolution can be successful. I think we need to borrow from what Parliament or the MPs have been doing, such that it didn't matter whether the MP is an opposition MP or from wherever side of the divide. CDAs had a fixed amount for every constituency in this republic. Likewise, we need money, and I think we will push this very hard within CAF and within other devolution structures. We need money coming from the consolidated fund, earmarked for every constituency in this republic. And in my opinion, it should not be less than 50 million. So when things stabilize, I look forward to every ward in Kenya receiving not less than 50 million being development money, and which the MCAs, together with the people, will identify projects that they should go to as the MCAs oversight this. That way, no MCAs in the Republic of Kenya will be beholden to their governor, because whether the MCA supports the governor or not, money will go to the people, because this money we are demanding or we are asking to come to the wards, it is not coming to the personal account of the MCAs. It's about, and Linda Nyeri County is a very good project. Example, that our governor allowed this to happen. Nyeri County is among the top counties in terms of development in this republic. I've been able to do 4 bridges in my ward in collaboration with the county government of Nyeri. Very, very many feeder roads, new roads where there were no roads existed, You see, those are the kind of developments we need to see. Those are the kind of engagements we need to see. And hopefully, this will happen. We are lucky we have people like Governor Kangata who are fighting for such things to happen. Now they are in power. We expect to see them happening. And as I said, we will fight to have them fast-tracked by the government. Luckily, the president have committed to support all that it takes in order to ensure that services, whether from the national government or the devolved units, reach wananchi in a more good manner. So, Linda, I want to say thank you very much for inviting us here. It's always a great thing. And there is someone from my ward who have told me to keep Kevin Osiro as my friend. Yes. He has said, a friend called Steve have texted me that Ken Osiro is a very
well-versed.
Yeah, he has said he's a great asset.
Yeah.
So thank you very, very much. Receive the greetings of Chinga people.
Greetings received.
Because I've heard you saying you will visit Ken Osiro, we also invite you to Shinga. Yeah. We have a dam and
I have to ask?
We have a Shinga dam there and we cook some fish there.
So there. Oh, there's fish?
Yes, there is fish. Although it might be a bit small.
Iko na mfupa mingi sana.
Sio mingi. Wewe unakula tu wewe huangalia.
That is better than nothing. Thank you so much. Invite accepted, and I hope it is soon. I'm going on leave soon, so thank you so much. I've been looking forward to that. Now, you please don't welcome me to Zimmerman. I'll make sure I connect you to Kevin Osiro all the same as we sum it up.
Yes. Thank you so much, Linda, for hosting me.
Thank you
for having me. To the people of Zimmerman, I can assure them that we are still settling at Nairobi County. We don't expect much of those fights, but we expect to have much of service delivery. As we speak, we are going to have an effective public participation so that all the projects, all my objectives and my manifesto is well captured at the CIDP, which will be starting soon. And I'll make sure that we use several platforms, not the traditional platforms of just calling for people somewhere where not so many people come together. We are going to have also this online and social media public participation so that we may capture all the projects that Zimmerman needs. I know them at my fingertips, but we'd like it because it is a requirement by the Constitution to have all of them being captured. And as an accountant, I also assure you also, we are going to well capture them at the budget process and the policy paper so that Zimmerman is well represented and Zimmerman will have a good development record for the next 5 years. Thank you and receive greetings from Zimmerman also. It is a great pleasure having you and also being hosted by you. And I look forward for many also.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much. Zimmerman is my neighbor, and some of them are saying that, please, Mheshimiwa, ensure that all the cabros that were being put initially with the previous reign, EOC stop. At least all the places, are covered.
Thank you so much.
Asante sana. Mheshimiwa, close it.
Okay, thank you very much, Leader. It has always been a pleasure being here. The very vibrant debate and robust debate, which is people-centered always. And I'm very grateful for that. Leader, for me also is that I will not invite you to Nyandarua. But what I can promise you is that I will bring along Angunia of years. That is our signature.
I will enjoy with my little boy. Yes. Thank you.
That is our signature produce.
Can we? I know. Waru.
Yes.
This one's for cheapo, eh?
Yes. So I will do something about it very soon.
Thank you. You can trust.
They cook ugali and eat with waru.
At least they have cabbages.
No. Waru and ugali. Waru being
so
yes.
Again, I'm very happy about the discourse we have had with my panelists here. Bonamogo, we have never met. A new friend you have brought to us.
Yeah.
Keruga Duku has been my friend. You know, we have been in the same formation, harassed across Mount Kenya region. But we are here today, and we don't have time to celebrate.
That's true.
This is the time for hard work. And I am calling upon everybody occupying their space, whether in government or outside there. Like myself, I said, Leader, that I will work in government or with the government, whether in or out, but the space you occupy, put your best foot forward.
That's true.
For this country. Right. There are no freebies. There are no free things. It is hard work that will move this country forward.
Right.
So I'm calling upon everyone and also wishing our Form 4 and Standard 8 candidates
Oh yes, they're about
all the
to
best
start exams.
in their exams. They are our future. We are merely trustees, and we expect that if their future is good, we shall age gracefully and in peace and in a prosperous country.
Well put.
Thank you very much.
I can assure you that when the history, and I mean the history continues to be written of this country, we do not miss your names. Thank you.
Thank you.
Especially his. I'm only disappointed in him confirming they actually eat ugali and waru.
He did not say no, right?
Good friend.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for speaking to us. We shift gears